And I literally left the keys on the kitchen worktop and I left. Just thought, if I don't burn my boats, I'll always be going back.
The Dariush Soudi, who almost died twice, lost £100 million, moved to Dubai with only £750 and has now helped millions of people worldwide reach their full potential.
I've been working since the age of 13. One night, I was on my own with the kids, knock on the door, him and other men walk in with knife to my neck. That evening, I sent the kids to Dubai because I feared for their safety and drove to Spain. A few weeks later I had a heart attack, and while I was in hospital all I could think was like, I don't want to die alone. I have a billionaire who wants to hire me for 3 months to turn his company around. I helped this finance company go from $45 million under management to $1.5 billion. I'm full of love. If anything, I have a huge heart and I've chosen to not close it. I create atmospheres. That's what I love, because every time I was on my own I had to get away from my current situation, so I always dreamt I was somewhere else.
You've got this like undying self-belief and like this I am already that thing even when I'm not.
Dream from.
Welcome to the show where we talk to successful people about the bits you don't see. Today we're talking to Dariush Soudi, who almost died twice, lost £100 million, moved to Dubai with only £750 and has now helped millions of people worldwide reach their full potential. Darius, how you doing?
You've done your research. I'm impressed.
I've done my research.
Thank you so much. Honoured to be here. Thank you, Callum, for inviting me to my own studio.
To your own studio, in your own office, in your own building.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I have done my research because I really enjoyed it, to be honest. You know, I've had a lot of guests on and I've done my research on them, and it's been, you know, enjoyable, but also I need to do this to find out about the guests. But actually with a lot of your content, I was really getting a lot of value from it.
Interesting,
so, yeah, thank you.
Interesting story, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't wait to get into it because the show obviously is called The Bits You Don't See. The issues that people have faced in their life. You're not going to see any
of my bits.
Oh,
you've probably just eaten. I don't want to put you off. So.
Oh my God. So, tell me your story.
Where do you want me to start? It's a long
life.
Start
from the start.
Very quick. Where I'm different is where I've been on my own all my life. At the age of 3.5, my father passed away. Age 7, my grandfather passed away. He was the person who took care of me when my father passed. So from age of 7, I realized that life is short and unpredictable. And I never had a male figure in my life. And all the time I've been told, you're the one who's going to look after. You're the only man in the house. You got to look after. So there was a sense of responsibility. We were born in Iran. We left 78 to live in England. I hated it. I remember arriving in Manchester and it was raining. It was like, whoa, grey rain. And it rained for 35 years non-stop, right? So coming to Dubai, I was like, thank you. Yeah. I didn't really fit in. I was dyslexic. I got bullied at school, but I couldn't go to my mum because she was a widow at 23. So I just had to do things myself. I had nobody to run to and I had nobody to complain to. So now I love my own space. In my late 50s, I love my space. I love having my me time. And I think it's that child within me, because every time I got my act together, I was a warrior or a gladiator, it was when I'm on my own. And I immersed myself in music. So in my last Gladiator Summit, myself and our videographer made all the music, everything together. And I create atmospheres. That's what I love. Because every time I was on my own, I had to get away from my current situation. So I always dreamt I was somewhere else. So my imagination is great. So at school, I realized I wasn't stupid. I was called stupid, but I was dyslexic. And I was good with numbers. I thought, where can I provide for my family? Because that's my sense of responsibility. And earn more than my education, because I'm not educated. So sales was the easy option. Again, not particularly good, not particularly smart, but I was the hardest worker. I've been working since the age of 13, glass collecting in nightclubs, to doorman, to barman, you name it, I've done it, waiter, bellboy, and I can tell you stories. So the reason I made it, because I always worked hard. I married young, got 2 children by the age of 28, and I remember 3 o'clock in the morning, I was heading back to Manchester because I was door knocking till midnight in London. And my manager will phone up to say, where the hell are you? And then he had a GPS, and you go, oh, you're actually working. I can't believe it. But all my friends...
Nobody else is working.
They're all in the pub. On a Friday evening, they're in the pub, right? So, and I just, not because of religious reason, I used to play squash a lot, and I just didn't drink. So I never really fitted with the English drinking sales culture.
Yeah.
So met my first wife. She had a beauty salon. She took me to an exhibition, and I'll go and say, well, what's your USP? And they'll go, by that time I had more jobs than I can remember. I left, fired from jobs I can remember. Honestly, I was just learning as I went along. Just nothing really fitted. So the lady with a tablecloth would say, well, buy my product. It smells nice. And this the USP is the packaging. I went back to Michelle, my ex-wife, and I said, I think we can do something here. So I flew to America, brought the product back, saturated the UK in less than 6 months. Then she had a beauty salon above a post office. And I felt like the David Lloyd Centres had just come out. And I don't know, David Lloyd Centres.
I remember for 20 years before I moved here.
Oh, right. So they just come out. And I thought there was a huge market for out-of-town health clubs. So we got this lease, and it did really well. And we had 7 health clubs in 7 years. 600 members of staff. And I always dabbled in things. We got divorced. We just grew apart. She came to Dubai to live with her new partner. I looked after my kids. But that's when I met my new partner, my second wife. We had 3 children collectively. I'm doing a fast version of
this is good, because I'm then going to pick out snippets and go back to it.
Just happened that I had a company called 3D Kids. And when I brought the kids to Dubai, they sat in a booth and they had a 3D image taken. And they put it inside glass by impregnating 10,000 bubbles inside the glass to form a 3D image. On the way back, I was like, that machine must be really expensive, but it sat there for 2 hours just doing my kids. So how can I improve this? This is amazing. So I wrote a business plan that I was going to put the machine in a warehouse and take the cameras to schools. Saturated the UK in 6 months.
Wow.
Every single nursery, everything was using 3D Kids. At one stage, I was the biggest importer of glass blocks from China.
Wow.
And then we had returns. I didn't know what to do with the returns because the glass weighs so much. So, longboats in canals, they were using them as weight stabilizers inside them. It's crazy. But the machine was limited. This is talking about rushing into deals. The machine could only make 24 blocks an hour. And the machine was 125,000 euros from Germany. So I ran out of cash. And again, very quickly, I signed 6 franchises to fund the cameras were, I think, 20,000 euros or more at the time. So I ran out of cash very quickly. The business was doing really good. Signed 6 franchises. One of them was a Scouser. And he paid me cash. He wouldn't do emails. But I was so focused on...
Yeah, this is great. I've got somebody to say yes.
Yeah, I was so, focused on growing the business. I didn't question, why is this guy not documenting things? Why is he paying me cash and stuff like this? And one night... I was on my own with the kids, knock on the door. Him and other men walk in with knife to my neck, and they wanted the money back. And leading to that, for 2 months, he was shouting, his wife was abusive. I was like, why are they behaving like this? Found out later on this, taken my idea and set up competition. Oh, wow. And they just wanted the money back by bullying me. That evening, I sent the kids to Dubai because I feared for their safety, and drove to Spain. Went through Manchester to London, Dover, tunnel, France, Spain in 48 hours. I was like this, what happened to me. And at that time, all I remember was, I hope my daughter doesn't see this, because she sees these men with knives to dad's neck. It's going to, change her future. Yeah. So thank God she didn't open the door. Anyhow, a few months or weeks later, I had a heart attack. And while I was in hospital, all I could think was like, I don't want to die alone. Where are my kids? So I made a decision. September 2009 was the time I was going to come to Dubai. Very honest, I told people, I got gazumped. The bank came after me, the government came after me. I had money in the bank. When the government said they're going to sue me, they put in the London Gazette, and the banks froze all my accounts. So there's probably still money sitting. I had it's like a 200-year-old law or something. And when something's going in the London Gazette, they freeze your account. So I started paying staff cash, and it became a nightmare. Yeah. The whole thing became a nightmare. And I paid the debts, I paid the tax, it was too honourable. I should have gone bankrupt. I would have walked away with more money. Yeah. I came here with just over $700 in my pocket. Lived in a maid's room, but I was happy because I was with my kids. built it all, and I'm happier than ever before, making more money than ever before. And it's been tough. It's been tough. Since then, I had another heart attack. I think the pressure of it all and working 24/7, the stresses of
that was
children.
only fairly recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 years ago, yeah. And I think it was the accumulation. I just found out James Arthur Ray, my friend from The Secret, you know the book The Secret?
Yeah.
I was doing some business with him. He's a motivational speaker, shredded, incredible guy, 67, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day, watch what he eat. When I spoke to him, he go, I want to live to be 120 years old. He's all into manifestation. Yeah. He was one of the cast in the Secret movie.
Okay, yeah.
And I found out he died 2 months ago. And when I spoke to him, he said, I'll be 120. And I would have put all my money on the fact that he will be 120 years old. But what happened was, I think it was 10 years ago, he was doing an event and he does sweats. I think they call him sweat something. They put you in some kind of a hole. The American Indians used to do it.
Right.
Sweat lodge.
Okay.
And they sweat until they detox. Unfortunately, 3 people died in it. So he served 2 years prison sentence. Oh, wow. And he said it was the biggest lesson, but I think he died because of the pressure and the stress.
Yeah. He
had to pay the victims over $3 million, cost him $2 million legal fee. He lost everything. And he was a really great guy. Again, he shows that life's unpredictable. You just don't know.
And you're not invincible. This is something I've been teaching myself recently, because I thought for a long time I'm invincible.
Of course.
And I'm not sure I am.
Well, you're definitely not, because found out that the only time I found out I wasn't invincible is when I put iodine in my body and I could see my heart beating on the screen and the blood vessels going, oh shit, I'm human. You know, there's not mercury running through my veins or something like this. God, I've got to be careful. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all of that. What a story. Where do I start? I'm going to go back to the start. So you mentioned that your dad died when you were very young.
Yeah.
Something strange happened around about that. What was it?
Yeah, they didn't tell me he died. So they told me that he was on a business trip. For 1 year, I'll sit outside the house waiting for him to come. And then the day I found out is because they took me to his anniversary by his grave. I said, who's he? And my granddad said, that's your dad. That's how I found out. So I've got trust issues.
Understandably.
I have trust issues and loyalty issues. It's really important. I'm very, very sensitive when it comes to trusting and loyalty. Because if your mom and your family can lie to you, what else anybody else can do? So those are the things I carry still today. But I'm aware of my challenges in life.
Why did they not tell you?
Ignorance, lack of education. They think what I say now is tell your children everything because they can handle it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to have. They want me to have a happy life. They didn't want to find out about death at age 3.5, 4 is too much.
Yeah.
But they don't know the pain that I had by sitting outside the house every day waiting for him to come home.
And then
he was only 31.
Wow. So that's the same age as me today.
And my son, God forbid.
My God. Wow. You've then moved to the UK in an era when a guy from Iran's probably quite uncommon. That must have been hard at school.
Man, I've never experienced anything like it. So I'm like, first of all, we arrived. We live in a place in Cheshire called Holmes Place. Holmes Chapel, beg your pardon. Mm-hmm. Holmes Chapel is just south of Manchester. And we're there, don't lock our house door, windows open. First month we get broken into, everything's stolen. and the police came and said, they were on the way from the pub and there was just opportunities. So inside and they took everything. I said, do people steal here? I said, didn't you lock the door? I said, no, we don't lock it in Iran. They said, you're the stupid ones, right?
Wow.
So, and they never found them, nothing. That was my first experience. It was like, wow, here you have to close the curtains, lock the door. And this, at that time, didn't happen in Iran. And then there was like punks, mods, skinheads. So I used to just walk along and I'd see the punks. I was like, don't go over there, you get beaten up. I'll go over there, there's the skinheads and there was mods. I don't know if you remember. Well, you wouldn't remember.
Punks and skinheads I've heard of.
Mods where they had coats on with Doc Martens.
I can picture them, yeah.
The Who were mods, I think. And so they were all fighting. I was like, why is everybody so angry in this country? So it was a lot of just time whizzing by and not learning anything because there was no internet.
Yeah,
it was just a waste of my life. I've never thought about it actually. Yeah, there was no internet. If it was, that we're blessed now. Young people are blessed because you can sit there and connect with anything around the world on your laptop or on your phone.
Well, as we were saying before, I run my businesses from here, and they're in the UK.
Exactly. That time, the only time I'd flown was when I came to England. That was the only time I sat on a plane. So now we just take it's like a bus ride or a taxi, catch planes here, there, everywhere.
You know what I find really interesting about that is in Britain we've got this kind of we're above everyone else and Iran's dangerous and the UK is safe. And you've come from Iran where you don't lock your doors, more safe.
I haven't locked my car door 15 years here.
Well, we're the same. I mean, now we don't. But yeah, I don't know, just traditionally you would think that Britain's the kind of upper place and it's just not anymore. And I'm going to come on to that soon.
I'm really sad that they decided to leave Europe, okay, because it makes zero sense. Large economies dominate and you have to be part of European community to compete with China, India and America. But I think too many people still have this British Empire mentality. When you tax the world for 500 years, I don't blame.
No.
There is no manufacturing left. It's only R&D and finance. And south of, the South dominates the world, right? But then if you look at world wars, any wars in the past, the rich always sat on the top and the poor were also on the front line. Okay? And it's to me, it's no different. Anything outside London, they're on the front line. Look at Birmingham, what's happening right now. When I came to Dubai, they built a bridge. Very next day, the bridge had gone and it was on the other side. And he was just like, let's try it, let's go for it. In England, it takes 10 years to decide to build a bridge.
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
We've got a road on the way to our house that has been upgraded 3 times in the time that we've lived there for 3 years. There's a pothole at the bottom of my street at my mum and dad's house back home that's been there since I was a kid. It's crazy. It's
Isn't
just
it?
so different.
And the councils can get sued because of potholes.
Yeah.
In England, if you trip on a pavement and you can prove that the depth of that crack was this, you can actually sue the council. Do you know what I think? I think here, the leadership is incredible in Dubai, UAE. If you treat your population with respect, they'll respect you back.
This is the most respectful place I've ever seen towards government, towards police, towards any sort of authority. There's no respect at all towards authority in the UK. And honestly, I don't think they deserve it.
They throw rocks at ambulances and fire services. I was like, why are they doing this? I don't get it.
And that's been created from the top down.
Unfortunately, I faced police prejudice several times. Talk
to me about that.
I was 14, I was cycling up a pavement and this police officer grabs me and says, you're not supposed to cycle on a pavement. There was nobody there on this road, but it was a one-way street. So I went, okay, sorry, sir. And he was really abusive, grabbed me.
Do you think that's because you were Iranian?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I can give you examples. And then as he went, I just got back on my bike. He's gone now. So he went all the way around the States to come back on the same street and catch me again and hit me. Grabbed me and hit me.
Oh, what's the point? Crazy.
And I was like, doesn't he have criminals to fight? When I moved to a neighborhood, the same police car used to fine me all the time for speeding. This was many years later when I was driving. That was when I was 14. And he said, don't let me put you off living in this neighborhood. The little things. We had a company, it's in the book, this one actually. A member of staff was stealing from us. We fired her. And my accountant, I guess he was paying the fees, but he was Pakistan's Olympic champion for karate. He was a small guy. And one day I'm coming past and there's a huge English guy having a go at him, not knowing this guy can kick his ass, right? But my accountant was so nice. So I went over and I said, don't talk to my staff. I take a bullet for my team. And I said, don't go away. No. Next thing I know, police came and arrested me a day later or 2 days later. And they put me in a cell. And why? Because he said he had a cracked rib and broken teeth. I hit him. I had to justify and explain why I was the victim. He come to our office. So I felt the people who attacked me at my house, right? They got 6 months house arrest.
It's crazy.
Right? To break into somebody's house, put a knife to their neck, and they get 6 months house arrest. So I felt that there was no justice for me. And when I came here, although everything's wonderful when things don't go wrong in Dubai, okay, when things go wrong, it can escalate. So you have to be very careful. But I felt we had a fair chance as a Muslim, as somebody of no, I'm not white.
Yeah.
My name is Mohammed Dariush Soudi. So I felt I couldn't go back to Iran. The country's gone back 500 years. Dubai it had law and order, it had systems, it was respectful, and I could possibly shine again.
And that was back when it was maybe not as common to move from the UK to Dubai. It's such a hot topic now. I probably personally know a person every month moving here from the UK.
Yes. Most won't last. You know that, don't you?
You think?
Most won't last. Because there's too much distractions, too much noise now. When I came, you couldn't hold your wife's hand.
Yeah.
You couldn't kiss in public. Now everyone has boot shoes, miniskirts, and you couldn't walk the way people walk around. Dubai's moved a lot, and during Ramadan, for instance, you had to justify why you were eating, and it was all cordoned off.
You barely even
now
know
you won't
Ramadan
even know
now.
it's Ramadan. So Dubai's moved. It's incredible. I think there's too many distractions. A lot of people come here, they see the flash lifestyle on social media, and they think the streets are paved with gold.
Yeah.
They don't realize cultural differences. They don't realize so many people have come and gone. If you stick it out and show that you're a man of your word, you will do very well. I come here every morning and the lift is full of real estate agents. And I go, half of you won't be here next month.
I had an owner of a real estate company on the podcast before, Callum White of White & Co. And I was talking to him about it. And to be fair, I think they have one of the best retentions in the industry. But again, it's a churn. You know, it's kids coming from the UK.
It's like anybody. You got to recruit, right?
Yeah.
People who actually want to. The fact is that people come to Dubai not to find love, not to find spirituality. They come to make money and go home.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure that you get somebody with discipline.
Yeah.
Somebody who's got others to feed, not just themselves for the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay? Because
so this is something interesting that I can't remember if I read it in your book or watched on a podcast. Who do you say is the best type of people to employ? Talk to me about that.
Well, people have got other people to feed, like single mums, right? Because it's not about them.
Yeah.
Like if I had to look after you, I'll be a lot more dedicated to working to make sure that you're fed because I've made a commitment to you. But if it was me, I can compromise, and I don't have to sacrifice so much. Yeah. I'm a better coach than actually somebody who does something. So I look for people who have inner motivation.
Yeah.
Right? They have desire to feed their family back home, their moms, their uncles, their sick brother or sister.
Yeah.
Because they have self-drive. They have self-desire.
Yeah.
And when you're in sales, you need that to close a deal. Otherwise, you go, I'm comfortable. Think about it. I'll just move on to my next prospect.
Yeah.
And then Dariush comes along, Callan comes along, takes the deal away.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because they just couldn't close. They didn't have the desire to close. Or their bosses had to motivate them. I don't hire people who are already motivated.
Yeah.
If I'm spending time motivating you, I get drained.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't need that in my life. So next.
You've got an interesting hiring process. Talk to me about that.
7-step recruitment process. Because I've never seen a CV that says I got fired. I've never seen a CV that says I got caught with my hand in the till. They all left voluntarily. So knowing that, why are people still going through CVs? One. Second thing is, if you're spending time motivating them, there'll be no energy left for you to drive your business forward. So what I did was I do a 7-step recruitment process. I interview up to 14 people in 40 minutes. How it works, I send an ad out. Have you ever looked at advertising looking for jobs when you were younger?
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you think, God, this person is Superman.
Yeah.
This is Superman. These people, all these qualifications, years of experience, cannot exist, right? So the way people write the ads qualifies most great people that could potentially work for you and make a massive difference. So what I do is I advertise saying, looking for a superstar salesperson, superstar driver, superstar receptionist. And then I'll put all my values. And I say, by the way, we are Arena Capital. Most companies talk about themselves. Arena Capital established so long. Who gives a damn apart from you? And then what happens is I say telephone for a phone interview for an immediate face-to-face. So when they phone, the receptionist says, I could have 5 ads running and everyone says like, call Steve, call Callum, call Dariush. When they call, the same person answers, but by they're saying, is Callum available? I know it's for a marketing role.
Yeah.
So the way we do it
That's
is
clever.
just, but who they ask for, we know what role they're looking for. And then the question is, what makes you a superstar? And if the person can't answer, it's thank you, call me back when you know. Boom, done. So we're looking for people who call back. Sometimes people answer the question really well. They're idiots because all they have to do is repeat what they see in the ad, right? And they don't do that. They want to recreate something new. And then we say 9 o'clock, Dariush. And then 10 to 9, my receptionist is a spy. She monitors when they arrive. Some people arrive 1 hour earlier. Some people arrive with their partners. Some people are on the phone all the time, sunglasses on. So because I don't see that, the receptionist marks them. And then I come in and I run the meeting late by 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, you see people who get disrupted, who are upset, who go in a mood. And I come in and say, hey guys, listen, I ran it late on purpose because we want to know how you behave when things don't go according to plan. Because often you're sending your salespeople and the marketplace, you don't know how they're behaving. Yeah. And then 40 minutes, I get them to talk to each other. I get them to ask each other questions because being a great salesperson is being genuinely interested in the other person. If they can't ask one question, we're going to have problems. Yeah. And at the end, I say, okay, my vote is 1 of 14, or 1 of 15. All of you write down who you would employ if you were in my situation. And what you'll find is that most people will vote for one superstar. And that's the one I want to get back for a second interview. Yeah. And the superstar writes me. It's amazing how many people go for interviews and they vote for somebody else. You know, it's like
they're looking for them to vote for themselves.
Yeah, of course, you are the product.
Yeah,
it's like saying, no, don't mind mine. His product's far better than mine.
Yeah,
yeah, and the whole idea is that often when people are recruiting, they get tired, and they remember the one who had the most nicest clothes, smelled good, and often the last person they see because they forget who they saw. So I'm going to eliminate all those and save them 7-8 hours. And the truth is that half the people never show up for an interview. So sometimes you can be there all day long looking at an empty seat for 4 hours. So my process is, it was one of the ways I earned money when I came to the country. To save you time, you can first interview 800-900 people in a day on the phone, and then 14 people in 40 minutes and done. Saves you a lot of time.
Very sensible, clever. Your ad sounds very similar to your kind of sales process. You're putting the problem first, you're putting the pain first, and then, oh, by the way, we're running a capital, rather than the other way around.
Putting your values first. So what happened was when I had a heart attack, it was so clear that I had employees I didn't enjoy working for me. I had suppliers I didn't enjoy working with, partners I didn't enjoy anything. I was just making a living. Yeah. So I wrote down my values like honesty, loyalty, communication, speed. So when I work with a client or a member of staff, I say, this is my values, right? So I write down my values, yes? Abundance, so scarcity. Somebody's happy, self-driven, motivated, team player. When I wrote those things down, people go, that's me. Now, they might not know anything about online advertising or work in a veterinary clinic, but if they're motivated, I can teach them.
Yeah. Something you've said there about your values, abundance, and we were talking about Britain before. There's a guy in the UK, I don't know if you've seen him recently, Gary Stevenson. Have you seen him?
No.
He's basically saying that there is no abundance anymore and there's no hope for any of the working class people. And there's actually a few elements of what he says that I do agree with, but he's basically telling kids, you're not going to be able to make money. You're not going to be able to make anything of yourself. What do you think of that?
I think you should be locked up.
It's crazy. I mean, it was on Stephen Bartlett's podcast. Him and Daniel Priestley, they had a debate. Daniel Priestley, obviously, for the kind of...
Daniel's coming on my podcast.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So he debated them.
By the way, Stephen's been in
Gary
touch
Stevenson.
with me.
Stephen
Bartlett's team had been in touch with me to speak on his
nice.
podcast.
Fantastic. When are you going to do that?
I don't know. There's a questionnaire we have to fill. So I get my PA to send some information to him. So we'll see how it goes.
That's a podcast that got me into podcasting.
Really?
Him and Chris Williamson, they're the two that I've always watched or listened to.
No, I like Stephen Bartlett a lot. He's a very smart guy. In the right place, right market, right time, everything. All his stars are aligned. Yeah. So I've never heard such... I have to listen to him and see what his point is, but to me it's, well, load of bollocks.
Hey, so right? his main point, and I actually don't necessarily disagree with elements of this, is that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and essentially inequality is rising. And I think that, that potentially is true, but his solution to it, rather than going, let's motivate these young people to go and innovate and create, we're going, let's tell them that they're not going to be able to fix it. And
Fantastic.
go and sit and cry.
Why don't we just shoot them on
Yeah,
birth,
exactly,
right? No, it's
exactly.
rubbish. So if you actually look at human race, this is the only time where the poor can be rich. So I totally disagree.
Yeah.
If you look at Roman times, the rich were so friggin' rich and the poor were so poor. It's always been there. The difference is that the poor couldn't see.
Yeah.
Now, because of the internet and social media, we, the poor, can see how they live their life the rich are living.
Yeah.
So I think it's more apparent, but humanity hasn't changed. Sorry to go off on one, but 85 years ago, there was concentration camps. Right? I take my children to Krakow and have a look at Auschwitz, teaching them that humanity can't repeat the same thing.
Yep.
Now, they said there was only about 300 Nazis were controlling 40 million Germans.
Wow.
Now, that's what, and they killed 30, 40 of them, hanged them, right? They say they were the ones and the rest of Germany didn't know what was going on. But right now, it's happening. We see it every single day, but nobody's doing anything. You know, and they're saying, what the fuck's happened to humanity? Haven't we learned from 90 years ago, right?
It's because it's been a generation we all forgot.
No, I just don't think humanity's changed. I think that as I'm okay, Jack, look at who we're running supposedly the free world right now.
Yeah.
Yes, the nationalists, me. I think it's always been like that. I was reading history and Winston Churchill purposely bombed. Hitler said to Winston Churchill, let's not bomb each other's cities. And repeatedly, Britain bombed German cities.
Wow.
Until Hitler bombed London and then America got involved.
Yeah.
Then America got involved.
Wow.
Right? So Churchill used his British people as victims to get America involved in the war.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
So it's been going on since the beginning of time. The rich, the powerful use the masses to better themselves, but it's just more apparent now. Now, what I believe is that there is no reason why the poor should stay poor. Because now, through blockchain, from internet, if I'm able to learn how Richard Branson is living every day, how Elon Musk is speaking in meetings, how this person is marketing themselves on social media, I can be creative and unlock myself on these chains that I was born in. I can become richer quicker than ever before.
I don't think there's ever been an easier time.
Never.
With the internet, AI, I mean, you can have 5 members of staff with the AI with a few clicks. You started from zero twice.
Yes.
I've started from zero.
Yes.
We're living proof that you can do it. Let's talk about that. You started from zero twice.
So I disagree with this guy.
Huh?
I disagree with this guy.
Go on.
No, the guy you mentioned, Gary, whatever his name. I
Gary
totally disagree.
God, I completely disagree with him as well. Ask Daniel Priestley about him when you're together.
Sure.
Because honestly, about 10% of his points I completely agreed with, but the rest is just complete nonsense.
You know, the difference between us as humans and animals and trees is that we have a power of choice, right? Unfortunately, when I go to England, and I love going back because in a way it's my home, right?
Yeah.
I walk those pavements and I remember what I was going through my mind when I was going to school and how I missed the bus, and you have a history, right? Unfortunately, there's nothing to do. The children come out. I think, right, okay, then what are we going to do? Well, we can't go out at 6 o'clock. We're watching Love Island or 7 o'clock, whatever. And I'm like, are your lives dominated by television? And then I said to my mum, come to Dubai. No, I don't know, things are changing. Why are you in Dubai? Why are you in England? Because nothing ever changes. So when you go back, 10 years has gone, people are still doing the same things they've always done. So, and the English mentality is to have your own home, you know, Englishman's garden or whatever. Yeah. So the world has changed, right? You don't buy your own home. You invest your money. The rich make the money work for them. So I think England needs to be open to change, okay? The past is the past. We're blessed to have a free society. We're blessed that we have abundance all over around us. Here in Dubai, people still talk about scarcity, and there's more car showrooms, fancy car showrooms opening than ever before. I'm like, it's just the way you see the world.
100%.
Right? It's just the way you see the world. There's opportunity everywhere.
100%.
People phone me. I get begging messages every day. The best one was last month I had was like, can I have some money to upgrade my phone?
Just what, full stop.
Yeah,
That's
can
it,
I have
please.
$1,000 to upgrade my phone? I'm like, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
Can I pay towards my education? But nobody ever says, can I spend some time to learn from you?
Yeah.
Nobody values my experience.
Which is way more valuable than an iPhone.
I think so.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we've gone back to the UK when we've been speaking there. You were on the TV in the UK.
Yeah, that's rich.
Talk to me about that.
That's right. Granada approached me. It was Ricky Hatton. There was a lady who does the ghosts in a house. She goes.
Yeah.
She was very famous from Northwest.
Yeah.
It was like the rich list of the Northwest. So they followed me, Fly on the Wall documentary. They were everywhere. Car showroom. I put a credit card, buy a car. Come to Spain, look at my properties. It was a bit surreal.
Yeah.
But I'd just gone through divorce. And I hadn't met my new. I was thinking maybe I get a date from on TV. So it was aired at 7 or 7:30 on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
5 or 6 weeks, and then every Thursday night I went out. Anybody notice?
Look at me.
And in this club, this girl comes to me. I was like, finally, one girl comes to me, and we're having a conversation. And she thought I was on Emmerdale or something. Halfway through, I'm like, should I tell her? So I told her, and she walked off. I was like, God damn it. So what it did was it attracted the wrong kind of publicity. These franchisees, but one of them.
So yeah, franchisees, talk to me about that. You get a knock on the door. What happens next?
Yeah. They put a knife to my neck. They wanted his money back. And I said, being a salesman, I said, I didn't have that kind of money. I said, I'll pay you tomorrow. And then I knew who he was, called the police within half an hour, they were arrested. But then what they did was, again, I didn't know the internet. I come here and I meet you. I said, I'll be your sales consultant, pay me on performance, I'll do this for you, I'll even write your content, and I'll do anything, sell my soul apart from my body. I wouldn't have got much money for it, but sold everything I could. And then you'll phone me next day and cancel. I didn't know why. And what had happened was these guys had set up loads of websites because they're only a house arrest, so they're frustrated at home, probably blame me for everything. Yeah. They're setting up websites saying Dariush is a paedophile. Dariush has got the police, Interpol after him. And then what really upset me, because my kids, I couldn't afford school. The kids were online. So, Daddy, I'll come home and I've done like 18-hour days. Go, Daddy, there's another website. I'm like, why are they reading this shit about that? You know, and it was terrible. It was terrible. But then what happened was I contacted Knutsford MP, and he was being stalked. Then I realized millions of people are stalked on the internet. And so one of the first businesses that we opened was reputation management, and make sure that people could clear the names and if it was unjust and wrong things said about them.
That did well, didn't it?
It did very well. Unfortunately, when people now, if they're being wrongly accused of it and they're wealthy and it's hurting them, they'll pay anything to clear the names. But you have to make sure they're the right kind of people.
Yeah, of course.
They're not guilty and they try to clear the names.
Of course. Yeah. So if those guys that came into your house back then were in front of you now, what would you say to them?
There's a few people in my life that I would kill. There'll be some of them. Yeah.
Oh, you'd say I would kill you?
I wouldn't just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I lost my kids for a while, you know, and at the same time, looking back, I could thank them, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. But I'm not going to thank them.
I wasn't sure which way you were going to go, yeah.
No, I'll cut off the balls and stick my finger in their eyeballs, yeah, and then bite the ears off. And they probably feel bad afterwards. But at that particular time, I was an angry kid. I was in jail all the time in England.
Oh, wow.
In cells.
Just like stupid
you wouldn't
stuff.
think so seeing me now.
Yeah.
But like my first two kids wouldn't want to go to school with me in the car, because any road rage, I'd get out. I was so angry. I didn't realize how much anger I had inside me, because my dad left me. How fucking could you leave me to put me through that? How much mum?
So that's where the anger stemmed from. You think?
And then my mum was very mentally abusive because she took her anger out on me. How could you leave me, my granddad? You know, how could you guys do this to me? I was walking around smiling, but inside there was a nuclear, weapon going on. So I could snap. Yeah, I could snap, and then the police would put me in jail to calm down. The last time I was sitting there with a suit on, my knuckles bleeding, and I was like, I think it should change. I'm in my 40s now. I think I should do something different. This is not the way to be. I had this guy. he was a good-looking guy. He was a Manchester United wannabe player. So he was like on the training camp, but he wouldn't quite make it.
Yeah.
And I felt sorry for him. And I had spars, so I gave him a towel run. So what he will do is he'll collect the dirty towels, put it in his car, have them washed, bring him back in. So I was like, it gave him something to do. And people phoned us saying he spends too much time chatting up the girls. So you can't pick up the towels, you spend an hour chatting. I was like, stop this, it's not good. And finally I decided to part with him, and he knew. So I'm sitting in the front of my health club, and he comes in, I'm like, oh. Yeah, not even drive slowly, like, what do you want? And he knew that his days was numbered. And I said, don't do this here. And it was Christmas time. And I said, come to my office. As we were going to the office, he punched the Christmas tree. And I flipped.
Yeah.
And about 2 minutes later, he's lying there bleeding. I'm bashing his head against the floor. Flat nose everywhere. And I was like, this is not a good approach.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good approach.
No. So
I decided to change.
I've got a little passage from your book that I wanted to read to you.
Here we go.
And it kind of resonates with this. So...
Yeah. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
Another lie.
Yeah.
You wrote it yourself.
That's what I've turned into Gandhi.
On the last day of school, I carried out my final act of revenge.
Yeah.
You know where this is going?
Yeah. I went out with the stones.
I went to the playground and smashed all the windows in the changing room. Found the boys who made my life hell and physically beat up 3 bullies in turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've always had it in you.
Yes. So angry inside. I probably have it in me. About 5-6 years ago, I was having a meeting, and my son comes. Now, when it comes to protecting my kids, I die for him. And he was white. He's 31. He's here now. And I said, "Are you okay?" Something happened. And he said, No. The boxer that manages his website, he hasn't paid us for like a year. And under your guidance, I took his site down because I said, pay. We can't have your way. He's coming to beat me up. I said, I think we should conclude this meeting. So I'm packing, ready to go to my next appointment. And I thought I'd just calm him down. The door of my office opened, and this boxer is pushing my son. I said, please excuse me. So I go outside, and he's a big guy, obviously half my age. And I said, listen, don't push my son around. Pay your bills, this. And so I'm going to go into your office. I'm going to do this. I said, you're not going in. Next 30 seconds, he was flat on his back, broken chin, broken nose. Yeah.
Is he a known boxer?
I knocked him out. I don't know. I just don't care. Really. Yeah. And then I packed my bags. I was, where were we? Oasis Mall at that time. I came to DIFC, it was a half an hour drive. Sorry, it's Dubai Marina. I was sitting in an appointment, and I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and my knuckles are all bleeding. And then he comes to me, what had happened? So I'm shaking, right? Because when the adrenaline goes, when the whole fight or the run or the chase is over, you become sick.
Yeah.
So I felt sick. Next thing I know, he's phoned up the police saying that I attacked him, which obviously I did, right? So I threw the first punch. And the police came. They said, right, let's get the cameras out. They weren't working.
Oh, yeah,
so the police threw him away. I said, you the one who came to his office.
Yeah,
He's 50 years old, right? You're 25, a boxer, and go back and never come here again. I was like, I love Dubai. I love Dubai so much. It was England. I'll be in jail. I had to justify myself.
Yeah.
So, I just thought, calm down.
Yeah.
This is not good. This reacting like this is not good. But I think it's still there. I'm extremely competitive, freaking out. I hate losing. I love winning.
So this is something that I've noticed about you, and what you've said there just really highlights it. You're so hard, but also so soft. You're like a total paradox of like, you're all about love and all of this stuff, but then you're so hard at the same time. Yeah.
And I'll tell you up front where my boundaries are. I think, again, I've studied life, and relationships don't work because she has an expectations and boundaries, and he has boundaries, but they never shared it. So the wife is playing a role, the husband's playing a role, but because they've never had that honest conversation, they're stepping on each other's boundaries, and on each other's toes. And I realize if you tell people your boundaries, I sack staff and they thank me, and they say, "You're right. You told me. You told me." And you gave me one warning. The second time I'm out. I deserve this. Thank you. Yeah. I've fired clients and they thank me. And they fight and they offer me double the fees to come back. because they're the ones who tripped. Because right at the beginning, I said, these are my boundaries, right? Punctuality, honesty, loyalty. Yeah, these are really important.
Yeah.
And because of my heart attack, I've become very clear.
Yeah.
So I don't lose my temper as much.
So
that was the last
do you think
time.
it's the heart attack that's helped? Do you think you've got a different perspective on life?
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Most people, I look and I feel sorry for them because they're like walking zombies.
Is this
And
the
they're
first
gonna
heart attack or the second heart attack?
First.
First.
Yeah. And then I look at people and I think, God, you're going to die with frustrations. You're going to die, and looking back, you're going to think, I lived to somebody else's expectations, or I care too much about their opinions. Yes.
That's interesting.
I have a billionaire who wants to hire me for 3 months to turn his company around. And I said 3 months. He wants to hire me yesterday, but he took time to give me his contract. Right now, before I go away on summer, I've got 2 months to say, I don't want your business. Right? I start in September, I've got 3 months then, full flow to turn your business around. He comes and sells to me why his business is not doing well, because he's listening to his staff. He's listening to his loser staff, believes it, and comes and tells me. And I say, stop him in his track. I said, don't tell me your loser talk, right? I don't want you to influence me with your bullshit and their bullshit. So the first thing I'll do, because I'm not emotionally attached to your staff, I'll come in, I'll fire, replace, change your culture, and I'll leave the company in a better hands than you've ever been before. Because you're too emotionally attached to the people you recruited.
Do you think you can change your culture in 3 months?
Yeah, easily. Because I'll hire motivated people who care about change, who look for optimists. Absolutely. And then find out what because he's very much into longevity and health, but none of his staff care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hire people who actually care about health and well-being and longevity. So, yeah 100%. But then most of the time, it's the CEOs who ruin everything. So I was brought on into this. I helped this finance company go from $45 million under management to $1.5 billion.
Wow.
Okay? And I walked away from this company, and I love them, I invest in them, they're my friends, they sponsor my events, I'm not going to tell you who they are. But then the CEO, who's a 38, a billionaire, he doesn't have much emotional intelligence. So I'm there doing a whole 6-hour motivational day. He'll come and say, you're all effing fired if you don't do that. And he leaves. And they all know he doesn't mean it, he just lost it, and tomorrow he loves them all. But then for 6 hours on my work, just totally ruined. So often it's the CEO who's got the problem, who is the problem.
Yeah.
And they need to have more emotional intelligence and know the way that it's consistency. Yeah. If I'm loving towards my spouse, but in one argument out of 10 years I slap her, never ever the relationship's going to be the same again, because every time she's thinking he's going to slap me, right? So I say to the CEO, it's the same. You have to be consistent. You can't come into the office moody. Yeah. They can't second guess where you are right now, what you're feeling. Be consistent. Go and cry in the room, but never let the staff know that you're feeling down.
And it's interesting because the skills that you need to become a CEO and to set up a company are so different to the skills of taking care of a team, and it's hard to have both.
Yeah, bigger, different problems, right? And the truth is that. Why is Elon Musk worth $350 billion? Because he fixes huge problems, right? The bigger the problem you fix, the richer you get. So if you can't handle problems, don't become a CEO. Well, become an employee. Become bank teller. Jobs waiting for you. Clock in at 4 o'clock. Clock out at 4. Go home and have your 4-week holidays.
Well, as he says, my job is for 52 weeks of the year to fix 52 problems. I fix the biggest problem of the week in my company on whatever week that is. Yes. And then I get on to the next one the next week.
Perfect. I say to my son, wake up every morning hoping for problems. Because people are coming to you for solutions. You're the one who's earning the most amount of money. Yeah. You're going to pass things on. You're never going to earn money. Yeah. So don't complain about your day. I love fixing problems.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, bring it on.
Now, we've spoken about your first heart attack a couple of times. Talk to me about the ceiling, because you mentioned the ceiling a lot. You were staring at the ceiling.
Oh, that was the first one. Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, Wythenshawe Hospital doesn't have the nicest ceilings, right? So I'm lying there thinking, I was on morphine. Quick story. They said we're going to put stents in your heart. And I don't know what stents are. So the nurses come in and said, we're going to shave you. I said, Okay, it's here. So no, we're going to shave your balls. And I'm on morphine. I'm floating on the bed. I'm like, huh? And I'm a bit shy at the time. I was like, now I'll go, okay, off you go. But at the time I was like, oh, I've had a heart attack, not down there. He said, no, there's an artery that goes from here direct to your heart. So what we'll do is we'll feed this tube and then put the balloons through here. So I'm like, okay, then I'm like lying there thinking, this is so embarrassing. They're going, no, let's just do this. And this heart surgeon comes and says, what are you doing? He goes, well, we're shaving it. He goes, no, I'm going to use his wrist. So I'm lying there going, did this just happen to me, right? So I'm lying there thinking, is this it? Is this it? 43 at the time. I was like, is that it? But this is not my time. This is not going to be the last view I'm going to have. So I know what view I want. And I went on, I took some poison mushroom, DMT, in Mexico, and I saw my death. And I was like 76, and my family were around me, and I was looking at bright lights somewhere, and I was good to go. And I thought, that's the kind of death I want, not looking at this on my hospital ceiling on my own, nobody there, but just to bring it on. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's my, I nearly mentioned the person, but my very close friend's father, all his life wished his life away. I don't care, drank, smoked this. But when the day came, he was like, shit, fuck. And he died. Yeah. And it's horrible to witness. I want to say, you know what? I look back and think, wow, I'll do that again. Yeah, I did it all. Yes, and more.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
wow.
that.
I want to go with a wow.
Yeah. Now, you were in Spain and you had a really expensive packet of cigarettes. The one thing led to another. When I read that, it was like the story of something that happens in my business. Of like, that happens, then that happens. Talk to me about it.
So we had properties near Estepona, near Gibraltar. Yeah. And Gibraltar don't pay VAT. You have done your research. And I had when I drove from England to Spain, I had a Q8, I think 4.2 litre or something. It's quite fuel thirsty. So I was sitting in my house. I was like, this Sunday morning, I think I'll just go to Gibraltar, fill the tank, save myself 20 quid. So I went to Gibraltar and there was some cigarette. I don't smoke. And I thought my wife at the time said, her father smokes. So I'll buy a couple of packs, yes? As I was going through the border, filled the car with Morrison's, filled the car with petrol, going through the border, and a Spanish police are looking, and I went like this, transparent. He goes, so I went over, says, there's a €500 fine. Why? Because you have 2 packs, you'll be one. I said, well, have the pack. I'm not illegal, I just didn't know the rules. It's still a €500 fine. But you have to go to this city, Seville or something like that, to pay the fine. But it's Sunday, they're closed. And also, we need your documents. So I don't have I left in such a rush. I said, how do we know the car's yours?
So this is only just after the guys have come into your house as well?
Yeah, and a British plate. Yeah. I was like, so I had to fly my secretary down from Manchester to Spain, take the documents, go and pay the €500 fine. But by that time it was Wednesday. And they put my car in compound, right? So I had another one. I had an Audi A4 convertible. So I was, maybe the universe wants me to drive that car, and it's not a bad car to drive. So I enjoyed myself, leisurely came in, and they wouldn't speak English. They all speak Spanish. It was just, I was treated like shit. And so coming out, they're all speaking English. I'm like, you're the same guy who didn't speak English.
Speaking English when you got there and started speaking Spanish.
And here's the fine. He says, well, we have bad news. What? He goes, the dog could smell drugs. So we took your car apart. Yeah. So what do you mean? He says, over there, the seats were ripped with knife. The petrol tank was taken out, smashed, all the tubes, everything. Did you find anything? No. I said, what do you do? It's your problem. You to pick it up. So I had to call Audi Spain to pick it up, take it back, and I found out the insurance didn't cover for police damage. So they wrecked it was just, everything was pouring in. It was just the worst time of my life. So I just thought, I don't like Spain. If this is going to be happening, so I don't want to be here. Yeah, everything was it's like God give me a sign. Yeah. Like, you dumbass, how many signs do you want in your life? So everything was pointing. And honestly, looking back now, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you, and I wouldn't have the friends and the social circle that I do now. I'm blessed. Sun shines every day. don't pay taxes. Amazing.
Now, you mentioned the car being ruined, and we've spoken about the business, and you've left the bank account. There was houses as well. You seem to have left
3 houses
so much
in Spain.
stuff. Yeah.
So I was sitting there thinking, I've got investments here, right? If I go to Dubai, I always have to come back to see how these guys are. And at that time, I think it's still bad. Spanish market, the housing was really bad. You couldn't rent it, you couldn't sell it. So I just, you know what, I've got to burn my boats. I've got to burn my boats. So I did a house sale, and I literally left the keys on the kitchen worktop, and I left. I could go back and maybe some homeless people have moved in. I don't know, banks still taking, obviously I haven't paid Spanish council tax for 15 years. But I just thought, if I don't burn my boats, I'll always be going back.
So few people would do that.
Yeah.
Like, of the population, 0.1% would go, don't care.
Yes.
Yes. Go take that.
No, it's okay. I don't.
Yeah, they would go, don't care. They would go, I can't. You've gone, don't care. They would go, I can't possibly leave all that stuff.
Yeah, I worked too much.
What enables you to do that?
I had enough.
Yeah.
I was done. I'm done. You know, I know if you guys have been in relationships where you think, I'm done.
Yeah.
If I stay in this one, I'm done.
I have.
I'm walking away. No matter how amazing sex was, I'm done. Right? Because the pain is so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. I'm done. And I was done. I had to draw the line. I thought, you know what? I'll be dead otherwise. So,
and you moved from this high life, TV, millionaire.
But I was actually I didn't have much of a high. I was a dad, right? I've always been responsible, but maybe not so grounded, maybe not so humble and living in gratitude, because I've been to the bottom, you know. And it was so hard. I remember this example. Maybe I'd written a book. I can't remember. I had like a couple of $100 left, and I was like, the best thing to do is network. I need to go to these networking events. And I went to this particular one, and this networking, now imagine I've got no money, right? And there's this lady who works for Standard Chartered Bank being bullied by these financial advisors. And I felt really bad for her. So I'm the one who needs help. And I thought, I'm going to help her, right? So I phoned her up and I said, she goes, I work at Emirates Towers. So I'll meet you at Starbucks. I said, let me tell you what happened. She goes, I know, it was horrible, wasn't it? I said, to overcome this, you need to do this and that. And I spent 2 hours coaching her how to answer in networking so she doesn't get humiliated. Because she turns up at 7:30 every morning, every week, to meet these people, and she's being bullied, right? Yeah. She goes, thank you so much. And she walked off. I had to pay for the coffee, right? I'm like, 2 hours of my life wasted. I paid for a coffee that I couldn't afford, but I've done good in the world. Yeah. Next thing I know, the head of the chapter phones me up.
Back. Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
No, but I'm just imagining that you're going to get back more than you ever gave.
No.
Oh, no, shit.
Yeah. It
gets worse.
And he phones up and says, Dariush, we better meet. Goes, why? He goes, the woman who you coached went online, found loads of horrible websites and sent it to everyone.
Oh.
So
the websites from the guys who came into your house.
Can you justify yourself? Can you explain who you are? I'm like, I never sold her anything. I helped her. Even then, she went online, said horrible things, and spread it to the financial advisors who were bullying her. And they started saying, let's not invite this guy again because he's a paedophile. He's got this, he's got that, he's got that. I was so tired of human beings. That's crazy. You know, and I was like, that's why I like my own space. And how can you justify that? How can you justify people behaving like that? I've stopped asking that question. I have a Nick, my friend, who's got no arms and legs.
Oh, yeah.
And he posted something motivational, and there was hate in his messages. Like, how can you hate someone who wakes up in the morning with no arms and legs, and he's an inspirational speaker, right? And he can't go to the bathroom without somebody helping him, and you still have hate for him. What kind of a world, what kind of society we live in, that we can't have empathy and love for people?
And it would be jealousy that he's got no limbs and doing way better than those people.
Yes, because he highlights something they hate in themselves, right?
Exactly.
So I've stopped asking or being affected by it. A company recently in India, a Forex company, took people's money, and they called actually Arena Capital. They knew what they were doing. Yeah. They copied my company name. But instead of .com, they put .org or something like this. We were clueless, right? And they had an office 3 buildings away from here.
Oh, wow.
So they took a bunch of people's money, and they ran off. And in there it said, contact my son's name and us. So suddenly over the last 2 weeks, the phone's ringing. People are coming saying, where's my money? I'm like, who are you?
So this is only now? This is
just now.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, who are you? So we did a bit of investigation, find out they're a Forex company and taking people's money, and then they're sending them our way. They run off. So I'll go online, and at first I'm thinking we're being spammed. Something like block. No,
it
keeps coming, and it's different people with proper profiles. So I give them sympathy and empathy, right? So I contacted one of these guys. Said, I'm so sorry. Let me explain to you that it's not us, and this is it. He goes, after about half an hour of explanation, he goes, I expect you to give me the police report. I said, you can go and fuck yourself, right? Don't expect anything.
There's anger coming back.
Yeah, this is me giving you love, right? And he came back saying, so sorry, because now I don't mind confrontation, right? Again, the listeners, if you feel it, say it, right? Not all confrontation is bad. Now the guy's my biggest fan. So I'm so sorry you clarified things. And now looking back at my email, I was a bit aggressive. I didn't realize it was you. Please forgive me. Yes. I was like, God, even if you try to help people, they come sometimes biting you. But it's not about you, it's about them. I said, if you're stupid enough to make investments without checking the company, I can't help you. Right?
Now, let's go back to when you first arrived in Dubai. What were you eating?
2 coffees and a sugar donut today.
It's crazy.
And I was staying in Borders bookstore because there was a Starbucks at the back, and different hotel lobbies. And after a while, the hotel lobbies will kick me out because I wasn't spending money, I wasn't drinking anything, I was using the free Wi-Fi. And it was really strange when I wanted to grow. I didn't have an office. For 6 months, I was doing visa runs. For 3 years, I was doing visa runs. For 6 months, I didn't have an office. So every time I turn up in Oman, and they go, hello again. Are you working? No. Are you a tourist? Yes. And it was just say, see you next month. It was the most degrading trips to Oman ever. But every time I go, I said, never again, never again. So that's painful. And I had to take my wife and kids to across the border every time. I was miserable. And my baby was had nappies on, peeing and pooing in the car on the way to Oman. So, yeah.
And you were living in a maid room at that point as well?
Yeah, but in good neighbourhood.
Yeah.
So I
you
socialised.
talked to me about that, because there was an interesting reason for that.
Yeah, because I wanted to socialise with the rich on the beach, on the palm. So I played volleyball with them on the beach and pretended everything was okay and learned from them, listened to the conversations, formed a really nice peer group. And a lot of my business came from their recommendations because they liked me as a person. So if you go to live in a poor neighborhood, you're going to have the conversations of poor people. So I knew, all the time I knew, if I continue doing what I do every single day, eventually I'll get out of the hole I'm in. So I just had inner confidence, but I didn't know how hard it was. It was so hard.
You've got this like undying self-belief and like this, I am already that thing, even when I'm not.
Dream from.
Yeah.
So I was sitting in this maid's room and I was thinking of having a Ferrari, white Ferrari with a black roof. And I'm like, no, you're an idiot. You know, manifest. You're rich. And you're looking around, your shower's here. And if you shower, then my bed will get wet. And I was like, your subconscious mind said, no, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. So I thought the best thing to do is imagine having the Ferrari and what leather smells like, the air in your face and all this. So how you feel. So I kept dreaming from my goals, not towards my goals. Because if you dream from towards your goals, your environment tells you that you're rubbish, you're no good. And I knew that at the time Tiger Woods was winning everything. And Tiger Woods won all the tournaments. He visualized winning and worked from 18th backwards, when everybody else was working from the first hole forwards. So there were times when Tiger Woods would walk on the what they call golf green, thank you. And the way he walked, his competition quit. He just had this charisma about it, because in his head he's already won. I'm going to tell you a quick, I don't know if it's in the book or not, but I'll tell you how I drove my first Ferrari. Is that
so
okay?
You did get the white Ferrari with the black roof?
With the black roof, 458.
Nice.
And I had this vision, I have vision boards, all my staff have vision boards still. So I had this white Ferrari with a black roof on it, and I achieved all my goals apart from the Ferrari. And then out of the blue, LinkedIn, this lady messages me and says, hey, we own a car club. You pay 11,000 dirhams a month, and you can have 2 or 3 choices of cars, 2-3 days a month. You can have it for 1 day. Come and see me. Opens the catalog, it's a white Ferrari with a black roof. So, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm signed 12,000 dirhams or whatever a month. And I get this car and I love it, but I'm like, after 24 hours, I've got to give it back. I was like, this is actually cheating my goals here. I don't quite own this. Did this for about 3 months, and then I got friendly with the owner. And the owner comes to me and says, hey, Dariush, I'm going to shut the company down. He had Maybachs, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Ferrari, everything. I said, why? He goes, well, everybody's got cars. In England it works, but here everybody owns Ferraris, so they're not going to rent it. And also they're hammering my cars.
Yeah.
So I said, what are you doing with a white Ferrari with a black roof? He goes, oh, I don't know. I said, would you give it to me? He goes, sure. Would you buy it? I said, yes. He gave me the key. I said, what about payment? He goes, how often do you want to pay me? So I gave him a payment plan over 6 months.
Yeah.
So I started driving a Ferrari, and I was identical to my vision board, and I hadn't paid 1 dirham towards it.
Amazing.
But what was amazing was I used to play regular football games. Nobody knew what I did. The moment I came round with a white Ferrari with a black roof, they were like, flies on shit, yes, or bees on honey.
Yeah.
And what do you do? What do you do? It's incredible when you drive a nice car, how many people want to do business with you who are interested.
And then you've had it the other way around as well, right? I think I read in the book, it was either in the book or a podcast, you were doing some sort of sales event where you were teaching people to do sales. Talk to me about that.
But that was at the beginning when I had a Yaris.
Yeah.
And it was the Pyramid Hotel, I don't know what it's called. And so I've done this couple of hour session. They're like, you're ace. And I'll just come out with them, we're talking away, and I give them my valet parking. The guy's Mercedes comes, Porsche comes, and then my Yaris comes. And I'm like, and I'm teaching them how to make money. And they're looking at me, and I know exactly what they think. And they're like, who the hell is this bullshit to teach us? I thought, okay, from now on, I'm going to hide in the toilet. So for about an hour, I'll take my laptop, sit on the toilet, we'll use the Wi-Fi until everybody went.
But that's what you need to do.
Act as if.
Yeah, 100%. And then you do get there. And now you are there. When I first came across you, you were on a stage at an event. And there was great speakers, Stephen Bartlett was there, as we said, Jay Shetty. And you came on and the crowd made these noises. And I was like, who is this guy and what is going on?
Yeah.
What's the story?
What happened was, I'm going to be very honest here. There was a reason why I was on that stage. Because somebody told the organizers that I can bring people in. And they put a lot of pressure on me to sell tickets, promote our event. And it became a challenge to me. I said, I can show, we thought you're going to sell 1,000 tickets, but you're not selling tickets. So I actually sent them a series of emails, people flying from all over the world to come and see me speak on their stage. And even then they were in denial. So I thought when I come in, just to show them, I'm going to get the gladiators in the room to shout, right? So when I came in, they all went, yes. I salute you. Yeah. That's what they all shouted. Yeah. And then when I left, there was a standing ovation and stuff. It was just, we have this tribe, this community that I truly love. I'm full of love. If anything, I have a huge heart, and I've chosen to not close it. Okay, so I have an inner circle who gatekeepers. However, I'd rather die with an open heart than a closed heart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to people on stage or on my podcast or on my videos, I'm always authentic.
Yeah.
Right. I am who I am. Judge me, whatever. Kick me, take out, whatever. This is me. So I have a huge heart. And I think it reflects and people feel it. And that's what you saw.
100%.
The energy. A lot of people, recently I've been feeling a bit tired and have meetings. People go, thank you for your energy. I'm like, wow, still saying it and I'm knackered. I've had no sleep last night and still there's something, this we call energy, that was maybe my gift from God or universe. So if I had to do life again, I wish I was born in India and I hug people all day. I sit on a hill and I hug people all day. That's what I love doing. Yeah. But ultimately, I love Ferraris. I like 5-star travel. Yeah, no, exactly. But then, you can love money and still be honorable. You don't have to be a bad person. And I help a lot more people. It was crazy. And I haven't said this before. I help 61 people a month in my friends and family circle. Wow. And you just do it. Yeah. I give half what I earn away every single month.
Wow.
So being rich is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have to work for it a day or rest of my life, because for 8.5 years, I've been saving, compounding, and I've been disciplined. And I teach people this. Unfortunately, the poor are brainwashed to think they have to put their money in Halifax or Royal Bank of
And
Scotland.
Gary Stevenson doesn't help that, the guy I was speaking about before.
Because you're going to stay poor.
He compounds
Inflation's running at really 16%
Yeah.
a year minimum,
Yeah.
and you're gaining 3% a year on your interest.
Yeah.
So it's okay to stay poor because because you're conditioned to work your ass off, pay your taxes, you die poorer than you started. So
why do you still work? Because you've said you never need to work again. Why?
I just do what I enjoy. This is not work.
Yeah.
You know what work is? Putting bricks on my back, going up ladders, that's work.
Yeah.
Meeting great people like you is not work. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Yes. 15 years ago, I had to justify who I was. Now people are contacting me saying, can I afford you? You know, I love that. I'm honored. I'm living gratitude every second. And the thing is, you don't want to retire. Most people die within 3 years of retirement. So I'm going to contribute. I'm going to learn. We're living through AI. I want to... okay, a lot of my people or my followers are saying you don't have a community. And it's true, because I never sold anything, right? So I just inspire people and they feel lost. So I'm creating
because
an AI.
They want to connect further with you and they don't have the ability
and if you think about it, if I decide to have another summit, and I'm contemplating having another one, because after the last one, I'm never going to do it again. I proved I could put the biggest crowd in, prove to everyone.
Yeah.
I didn't have to kiss anybody's ass to get on the stage. I did my own and everybody kissed my ass, right? So I proved it, ticked all the boxes. Then people came to me and said, what now? And I felt I was letting people down. I didn't even think past the event. And now if I want to do another one, I've got to go back on social media, advertise, email. But if I had a community, it'd just be one notification and I can pack Coca-Cola Arena, right? So I'm creating a AI community where for a small fee of, I don't know, $9.99, $19.99, something like this, and I've got 3 terabytes of training. I'll put it on my AI, and my avatar will help people make money.
Wow.
Dariush, I've got $10. What do I do with it? How do I save it? I've been connecting with this guy. Is avoiding me. This guy's ghosting me. I've sent a proposal. It's too expensive. Negotiating, and then my avatar will help people. And I'm sitting on the beach in Maldives. I'm not working anymore, but I'm using this information that I've collated over so many years to teach my avatar to help people.
So when can I have Dariush in my
Less
pocket?
than 2 months.
Wow, nice.
Less than 2 months, yeah. It'd be done.
Yeah.
Be done.
And you do have such, I noticed this when you were speaking, such a strong, I know you don't have the community, but you have such a strong following. Like,
yeah, I know,
you were
it's crazy.
Honestly, you were up there with Stephen Bartlett for the amount of people that, in fact, your guys were louder. They were definitely
I'm going to send this to a couple of people that we talked about as proof.
Well, no, honestly, we were in the crowd and I was looking, I was like, who is this guy and how has he managed to do this? He is ahead of everyone else for the whole event. And, you know, it's easy to say that when I'm sitting in front of you, but honestly, I mean it really was.
Do you know, honestly, I'm always honest. But people say, I'll be honest with you now. So, well, boy, you've been lying to me in the past.
Lying the whole time
Yeah,
before.
yeah, exactly. I'm honest all the time. So, often I think I should stop. And then I take a weekend off in Babel Shams or on the beach in Jumeirah Beach Hotel. And then suddenly, like, the universe sends me someone. And they said, and it's not the rich. It sends me someone who works as a bellboy. And says, you know what, thank you for your videos. They motivate me. They inspire me. And I'm like, did you just send him to come and tell me this?
Get back to work.
Yeah, every time I'm thinking of quitting, somebody comes and says something. We were in Babel Shams, this guy was driving a go-kart and he said, a cart, a go-kart, cart and a buggy. And he said, oh, you Mr. Soudi, and my wife died and my mum died and your videos kept me going. Really? I just want to have dinner. Leave me alone. I was thinking of quitting. And these people come to me all the time. Yeah, it's a blessing.
So are we going to get another event? Are we going to get another summit?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah?
But this time I'm going to do, okay, you learn from your mistakes. Last time was November. So leading up to November, I had to create advertising design. Because you don't know. You're going to put $1 million down payment at World Trade Center. And then you hope you sell tickets and you got to advertise. So it was a huge risk, our last one. And it ruined my summer with the kids and my family. So I thought next time I'll put it maybe January or February. So September I start promoting the event.
People aren't paying attention in July and August as well. They're back home, they're in the UK,
Yeah.
wherever
Having
else.
said that, we sold out in 2 months.
Wow.
It's like unheard of.
Yeah.
Our brand is so strong. I promise you, if I wanted a hassle, and I don't want to give it to an event organizer, I have 15,000 people in Coca-Cola Arena. No doubt. And the thing is, I wanted better the last one. So I had 132 entertainers.
Wow.
I knew, because I'm Iranian, I think we host quite well parties and stuff. And I was like, it's a 2-day event, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, people have to park their car, go through the traffic, walk a long way to get into my hall. I need to break them in the first 5 minutes. Otherwise, it would take all day for them to switch off from the outside. So I created a journey in the first 5 minutes. Everybody was in tears. I had them in the palm of my hand.
Clever.
And nobody else can do it. An event organizer can't do it. So already I use a lot of music and visuals. And I just want to be the best. So next one I do, I think probably about 600-700 people in a banyan tree in Blue Waters.
Yeah.
And maybe a higher ticket price to pay for everything. But I'll probably only have 2 speakers, me and one other person, maybe a panel. And that's it. Last time I had 26 speakers. And dealing with the egos of the speakers was the
hard
worst
ones to
thing.
deal with.
Yes. So probably 600-700 people, maximum 2 speakers. But then, here's the funny thing, Callum, is that as an event organizer, you're the most popular human being on earth. Because it's people's fears, but they all want to speak on stage.
Yeah.
So everybody's contacting, hi Dariush, let's go for coffee. The moment it was over, the phone didn't ring anymore. No one's to meet me for coffee regarding speaking. But the moment I announce, the phone's going to start ringing. Do you have any speaking? Everybody has a story to tell. And the reason I got into this event organizing is because I went to meet someone. They said, you got to meet him to get on stage. And he had about 30 hanger-ons, and I thought, I don't kiss ass. And I sat there, the AV failed, the sound wasn't very good. And I turned around to the 2 people next to me, I said, I think I can do better than this. A year later, I had 3,500 people. And the 2 people next to me were speakers on my stage.
Wow.
So they said, oh my God, a year ago, Dariush sat with us saying, I can do better than this.
Wow.
Just over a year later, we had 3,000 odd people in the room.
So
Amazing.
when do you think the next event will be?
January, February.
January. Oh, wow. So
2026.
Nice. And that'll be the one that's at Blue Water?
Yeah. We've already got the prices. I need to... Probably going to be Nick, because he's an incredible speaker, and he humbles you. And then me. And also, like the first summit we did, 900 people turned up. I'm all about giving. I'll give you an example. Other people, it's all about them, right? It's their show. They're the center of everything, right? With me, you wouldn't have known it was mine, because somebody came and said, I have a story to share and sell. And I brought them and I thought, you have a great story. I took my time slot away and give it to them. So I didn't even speak in my first one, right? So ours is all about giving. It's all about loving, and I want to keep that going.
Most of the events that I go to, it's like a sales funnel. They get you in, you pay your $1,000 for a ticket.
They make you feel vulnerable.
And then they cry, they make you cry, and then they go pay us $5,000 for our event.
Yes.
Do you do that?
No. What we do is, well, I've never sold anything, right? So probably talk about the community and my books. It's my legacy I leave behind. But then if you guide people, you educate them, they choose to come follow. Yeah. The days of you forcing people, and the fact is they don't get repeat business. You buy, they don't deliver. Some of the speakers on that stage, I bought their courses and they didn't deliver. And I thought, I never want to speak to those. Now their speakers are calling me to speak on my stage. I'm like, I was a client and you didn't deliver. How dare you phone me up? So no, we have to have massive value back to the end user. But they have to choose to come on board. And then they stay longer. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
You've got some interesting investments. Talk to me
Do you have any pets? Do you have any pets?
Not now, no.
And we got 6 veterinary clinics.
Oh, wow.
We have a spa.
Well, I've got a dog back home in the UK.
Right. I know. In Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And we're expanding. But that investment is all about flipping. So I buy veterinary clinics and put them into a group of like 10 and then flip it
sell
to
for much more. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of that lately.
Yes.
I'm thinking Georgia. What have you got going on in Georgia?
Olive trees.
Yeah.
I've got so many. I have 9 football pictures of trees. One of my friends just bought a plot next to mine and sent me a picture of my trees. And these, they return now at 48% a year. One day they'd be 65, 70% returns. Price of olive oil is going up. Georgian, it's like Ukraine. They have great soil. So very, very good fertile land. And people think olive trees are only for like Greece and Spain and Italy. They're actually suffering. Olive trees are very, very tough trees, and they're around for hundreds of years. So this investment is for my great grandkids. Long after I've gone, they're going to get returns. Yeah.
So I seen that on a podcast when I was researching you before this, and I googled it, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually great." I've ended up buying some. So
Did you?
I've got
you
some.
should have told me. I get a kickback.
Yeah. Well, put them in touch because I've only bought a few, but I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to do a few every month.
You got to.
Because it's great. I looked at it. I was like, "This is."
Have
brilliant.
you been to Georgia?
No.
Go
we
to
almost
Tbilisi.
went.
You'll fall in love with Tbilisi.
Yeah, we were going to go skiing, but we ended up not. But yeah, I'll
brilliant
go
ski slopes, incredible the food. Go to Tbilisi. I'll tell you what, you will fall in love with Tbilisi. Most amazing nature, land. It's incredible, and it's pretty safe. Economy is doing great, so it's a great investment. 100%. I'll put you in touch with him.
Yeah, put me in touch with your guy because I'm going to do more because it is great.
Yeah, a friend of mine, I'll show you the videos after this. He sent it to me, he said, here's my plot, my trees are a little bit more mature than his because he came in later.
Yeah.
But then all these have chips on them. You can look at your tree.
I did that with, I went on Google Maps, put in the coordinates.
Did you? Fantastic. How many did you buy?
Only one just now.
Oh, like $140 or something, right?
So I'm going to do a few every month. I did one to make sure it's okay, and then I'm going to do
I introduced you to the owner.
Yeah, please.
I went there, helicopter ride, and touched the soil, felt amazing.
Yeah.
And you're doing good to the environment.
Yeah. No, right? I'm going to do quite a lot because
well done
I just thought I'll do one for now, see if this money evaporates into thin air or not. And then show me your trees. But I'm going to do quite a few because
my friends can't thank me enough.
Yeah.
Because there's no investment that can be the 200 years.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
It's so crazy.
And all the oil is bought by Turkey. It's like fuel. They speculate and buy.
Yeah.
So I have no problems with the harvest and selling. It's already price of olive oil doubled in the last 12 months. Amazing.
And that's
demand
you're doing the investment based on the previous prices. So if the value of oil is doubling,
you make more money.
Yeah,
you make more money.
Amazing.
48% last year.
It's
returns.
Crazy.
I'll get 65% next year.
And you've got people with their money in their NatWest bank account back in the UK on 3%.
And they argue, so anything more than 3% is too good to be true. And we've been brainwashed to think if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do anything. I'll sit on my hands and watch Love Island.
100%.
And listen to bad news all day long. I don't watch Sky News anymore. Everything's bad news.
Crazy.
In Dubai, you're not allowed bad news.
Sells.
Correct.
Bad news sells.
In
Good
Dubai,
news
it's only
sell.
good news and positivity. Chris Fade is my friend.
Oh, yeah.
And he's one of the most incredible human beings. He would never have made it in England because he's too positive, too optimistic, right? So I love Dubai. I absolutely. If I see Sheikh Mohammed, I'll kiss his feet.
You used to see Sheikh Mohammed, did you? You you used to see him because you came here back, way back when it was
before
nothing.
Dubai was like he was I think he was the crown prince at the time or something, because after his father died, his older brother became king. I don't know if you're the ruler.
Yeah.
He passed away, and then Sheikh Mohammed bypassed his older brother.
Yeah.
But every time I came and said, "See that guy? He was a young man then." He said, "He's the bigger guy. He's the big guy. He is the one who's shaping Dubai." And he was third in command at the time. But everybody said it's him. And he used to sit in Noodle House in Emirates Towers.
Yeah.
He said, "Sit there, I sit here." So have I told you the Muhammad Ali story?
No, you've not.
Very quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I should have a podcast, I think, at 12 somewhere else. But anyway, they're in JLT.
Okay.
So where do I start from? Okay, Muhammad Ali is a hero of mine. And when I came here, I thought, you know what? Muhammad Ali, I want to meet him before he dies. And my father used to put me on his lap at 2-3 in the morning watching his Ali fights. So the only thing I remember of my father was watching Muhammad Ali fights with Joe Frazier and Foreman and stuff like this. So I Googled it, and Muhammad Ali had a center called the Ali Center, and all he did was help children find the greatness within. I thought, well, I sit next to Sheikh Mohammed, I'll just go to Dubai. When I go over there, I give him the idea, there's so many empty buildings, just put it there, and I get to meet Muhammad Ali, and I get to work with the ruler of Dubai. So for about 2-3 years, I had meetings left, right, and center, and nobody liked it. Never met Sheikh Mohammed. Princes here, there. And then after 3 years, I sat down with the closest one to the ruler's family. The guy turned up in a drop-head Rolls Royce, and I said, he's the guy who'll get you there. I did the best pitch. By this time, I was really good on this pitch, to bring the Muhammad Ali Center here to Dubai and help obesity, find the greatness of children, and 1 day a year out of school, they go to the center. And anyway, so, and he laughed at me. He said, it's a rubbish idea. So I went home and I said, I'm going to put this idea to bed. My friend said, open up a Facebook page. So what's a Facebook page? So I opened it, he came round, we opened up a Facebook page, and I wrote a heartfelt letter. And I sent it to my friends, and I said, if 50 of you follow this, I will continue chasing my dream. Went to bed, I had over 1,000 followers.
Wow.
And within like 2 weeks, I had 40,000 followers. So I'm driving down Sheikh Zayed Road, my phone rings, it's an American voice. Can you be available at 9 o'clock tonight? So I thought it's pretty important. So family is sitting around the table, phone rings, Mrs. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad's following you, and he wants to support you having an Ali Center in Dubai. Do you want to meet him? So I didn't have any money, so I borrowed money off friends, caught a few flights, turned up there, and just before going in, I thought, it's not me, I owe it to, by that time I had 60,000 followers. I said, I owe it to them to post where I am. So I took a picture of the sandwich board, posted it, 7,000 people replied. I was like, this social media shit really works, right? So on the back of a handkerchief, I wrote a business plan that was going to convert all my consulting clients to 2,000 dirham a month. And I came back inside 20, 30 clients. By the end of the year, I had 300 clients. I was banking 600 grand a month, and all because of Muhammad Ali.
And what happened when you got there?
He never showed up.
He never showed, but what a gift he gave you from, from
so
the idea.
I owe him everything. And on the back of that, people said, I love the advertising. Can you do websites? We did websites, hired the people, then took the money, hired the people, delivered. We can't find it. Oh, you need SEO. SEO is too slow. We got Google Ads. Now we're one of the top Google partners in the whole of MENA region. So before, I had a training center. Then we had a food and beverage company with designing restaurants. We had chefs working for us. Wow. And all from that Muhammad Ali experience.
You take a problem that you see and then you solve it with a business.
I take the money first. I say yes, because if they can do it, if Callum can do it, I can only learn, right? So I say, yes, we can do it, but I'm going to give me 2 weeks to learn. They trust me. They give me the money. And I've never had to give a refund. Nobody asked for it.
Wow.
Yeah, ever.
Right, Dariush, it's been amazing.
Thank
you very much. Where do people keep up to date with you?
Dariush Soudi Official, if you can put it at the bottom of the podcast. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's been fantastic.
I want to know more about you as well. We've got to get together before you go back.
Afterwards.
Let's do that.
Catch up afterwards. Thank you, Dariush.
Honour. I salute you, my friend. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Thank you.